Hello my beauties, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Janelle, and if you are not new here, hi, my name is still Janelle. Thank you so much for being here. So today I am spontaneously sitting down to film this because this is something that I've kind of been struggling with, and I kind of want to let you guys in on it. But before we get into the video, obviously make sure to subscribe down below and also to hit the bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. I upload every Friday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, or if you just like me. Yeah, that's cool too. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So today I'm going to be talking about reading slumps, okay? And I feel like the pressures of reading in the book community. Lately, I've just been feeling the pressures of like having to read 1 million books in order to be a booktuber. And I just don't like it. I don't know if I necessarily I definitely don't agree with it, but I really just don't like it. I have set a goal to read 100 books this year, and I am currently 5 books behind schedule. And at first that was really stressing me out and just kind of weighing on me, like, oh my gosh, I am 5 books behind. But what I was noticing is the more that I was stressed out about it, the less I was reading because it was stressing me out. And reading wasn't relaxing anymore, it felt more like a chore. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, okay? Because reading being a chore, I feel like, is really common for people who set high goals for themselves, and they want to read a certain amount of books in a year or in a month or whatever. And it becomes this expectation instead of something that we should enjoy. And so I just I don't know, I've been kind of doing that to myself, and reading has felt a little bit more like a chore. And I just want to say, right off the bat, read as much or as little as you want to read. If you want to read a book a year, read a book a year. You're still a reader. If you want to read 800 books a year, read 800 books a year, you're still a reader. I don't know. That's something I'm just kind of battling internally with, and I don't know. I just thought that maybe someone out there is struggling with the same thing, and it really could be beneficial if I just come on here and talk about it a little bit. But I feel like the hardest thing about when reading becomes a chore is it then puts you into a reading slump. And if you're a reader, reading slumps are not our friend. We don't like them. They're not fun, and they're really, really hard to get out of. So today I'm going to be talking about how to get out of a reading slump. So I have a lot of different tips. I actually have 5 tips to get out of a reading slump. My biggest thing, my biggest tip when you get into a reading slump is do not force yourself out of it. Especially don't force yourself out of it too much. As soon as you start trying to force yourself out of a reading slump is when you're actually going to be in the reading slump longer, because now you're putting an expectation and a pressure on yourself, and it's going to make it a lot harder for you to get out of that slump. So that is my number 1 tip, is to not force yourself out of it. It is okay to be in a reading slump. I've had 2 reading slumps in the last 2.5 months. Okay, so there you go. My next piece of advice to get out of a reading slump is to change locations where you are reading. So I find that I am always reading either on my bed or on the couch. And as much as those are great and comfy places to read, sometimes it can put my reading into a routine, and it makes it a little less fun to sit down and read. So I would advise you to read outside, go to the beach, go to a park, go sit at your desk, sit on the floor, sit on your roof. I don't care, whatever location is different, and go sit there and read, because it does change the atmosphere a little bit, and it I treat it as like a pick-me-up. Like, it kind of feels like a pick-me-up. Like, when I'm in a new place, I'm like, oh, okay, like, this is kind of fun. So yeah, that is my second tip, is to change your reading location. My third tip is to change the time of day that you're reading. So I, a lot of the times, read in the afternoons or nighttime because I'm busy doing a lot of stuff in the mornings. But I have noticed that when I am in a reading slump and I choose to read like when I wake up, but recently I've been choosing to read when I wake up. Like, I go on my phone for a little bit and then I'll go ahead and grab my book, and it's actually made me want to read more throughout the day, the days that I am reading right when I wake up, because it's kind of setting the tone for my day. Now, that is a personal one, obviously, but if you're usually reading in the morning, maybe try and change it up and read at night before you go to bed, or read in the afternoon or on your lunch break, or whatever it is, but change the time of day that you're reading. It definitely could spice things up in your reading life. So yeah, the fourth tip that I have to get out of a reading slump is to make reading cozy, okay? If you are a cozy reader like me, you like to be comfortable, and that way you can read for long amounts of time. So I personally like to make sure I have a few pillows, maybe a few blankets, maybe I'm sitting in my bed, or I'm on the couch, or I'm setting up a little reading nook on my floor. Whatever it is, I do like to be comfortable. I also like to make myself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or whatever it is that I'm feeling that day. I like to make a beverage to go with it. Maybe a hot chocolate even, if you're more of a hot chocolate drinker. But that is one of the biggest things for me when I am in a reading slump, is to make it cozy. And sometimes I even like to read in the bath, because you're all relaxed and, you know, you have bubbles and you're just laying there. And reading a book in the bath is the most relaxing thing. I'm actually about to do that after this video because I just want to get some reading done and I want to be relaxed while I do it. So that would probably be my number one, is like reading in the bath. It's really fun. I enjoy it. You'll probably enjoy it too. It's really relaxing. The very last tip: read a good book. Don't try to read something you don't think you're gonna like, or pick up something you're like, I probably should read more of this. Don't do that to yourself. Either reread a book you know you love, or pick up a book that you are anticipating reading, that you're excited about reading. Don't grab a book you're not excited about. That's a terrible idea. You're just going to be in the slump longer. So grab a good book. I have 3 book recommendations to get you out of a reading slump. All of these 3 books got me out of a reading slump, and I'm hoping that they will get you out of a reading slump as well. The first book that I have that got me out of a reading slump is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I always want to say Karen for some reason, but Carrie Maniscalco, and I absolutely love this book. This book is my favorite book right now, like ever. It is so good. If you like fantasy, fiction, just like mystical, but also like kind of dark, this is such a good read. This I highly, highly recommend. Especially if you love fantasy or anything along that lines, this is going to be probably your favorite book too. It is so good. Okay, and if you like something more contemporary or based on true events or something like that in nature, but maybe has a little bit of thrill to it, I definitely would recommend Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a great read. It is heavy. It does have some heavy topics in it, but it is one of the best books that I've ever read. The writing style, it's easy to read. You're not going to get caught up on a bunch of words or description or anything like that. It's really easy to fly through. And it's not that long, so I definitely recommend this book also. The last book that I have to recommend to you guys is a thriller. If you are into thrillers or anything kind of spooky or, you know, mysterious, I definitely recommend this book, and it is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This is probably one of my all-time favorite thrillers. It is so good. Just wait till you get like 50 pages in. There's a whole flip, okay? There's a whole flip. But this one is so good. This one got me out of a reading slump, and honestly, I've told myself if I go into a reading slump, I'm picking up one of these books again, because they are so good and they really just pull you out of the reading slump and make you want to keep reading another book. Okay, my camera just stopped recording, but we're going to keep going. Okay, so this next piece is a bonus tip. So I feel like a lot of the times I set a goal and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read, like, for example, I'm gonna read 100 books this year, and right now I'm 5 books behind. One of the things I know I'm not gonna do is pick up 5 books that look like this. Like, no way. No, just no. That's not going to get me out of my reading slump. That's going to make me feel more behind, more stressed, and more pressured. So my little piece of advice is to pick up some graphic novels. I personally love graphic novels. I love that I can read 3 of them in like an hour and a half and have read 3 books. It makes me feel better about my goal. There's also some really, really good graphic novels out there. There's even some novels that have a graphic novel version that you could totally pick up and read, and it's just like reading the book. I love graphic novels. I will recommend them to anyone. I don't think that graphic novels are cheating whatsoever when it comes to reading books. They are still books. You read them from start to finish. They have words, and there you go. That's all it takes to be a book. That is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I apologize if it wasn't like fancy and, you know, great lighting, but I'm doing with what I have right now. But I really just wanted to sit down and film this and just be real about reading, because reading isn't always how it looks on YouTube, okay? Sometimes it's not as aesthetically pleasing and it's not as cozy looking. It looks like reading, I don't even know, at the dinner table. Like, it's okay. That is all that I have for you guys for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!